Solo leveling is one of the biggest anime in the world right now. The weakest hunter alive, rising to become an unstoppable god of death. And most people think that story is already over. But the truth is, it was only ever the beginning. Because what comes next is darker than anything you have seen. Let me explain. It starts with the weakest hunter in the entire world, Sung Jin-Woo, an E-rank so weak they called him a human sacrifice. He took deadly jobs just to pay for his mother's hospital bills, until a hidden double dungeon nearly killed him and his whole team. As he lay dying, a glowing blue screen appeared before his eyes, a system visible to him and no one else, offering a single choice: level up or die where he lay. He chose to live, and from that moment, everything changed. Every monster he killed made him stronger, endlessly, with no limit. The weakest hunter began climbing toward the top of the world. But the system was never a gift. It was a test. Something had been watching Jin-Woo from the very beginning. An ancient being called Ashborn, the original Shadow Monarch. Once the strongest of all the monarchs, rulers of destruction and death. But Ashborn betrayed his own kind and turned against the monarchs. He needed a successor, a human strong enough to carry his power. So he built the system to forge one. To forge Jin-Woo. Every battle, every level was shaping him into the next Shadow Monarch. The story you thought was about luck was about destiny all along. Because a secret war had raged for longer than humanity has existed. On one side, the monarchs, beings who wanted to wipe out all of humanity. On the other, the rulers, who chose human vessels to fight back. Earth was simply the battlefield they fought over. The gates, the dungeons, the monsters, all of it was their war. And Jin-Woo's own father was pulled into it. He vanished years ago, and everyone believed he was dead. But he had become a vessel of the rulers themselves, given one final mission: to hunt down and kill the new Shadow Monarch. He did not know that the Shadow Monarch would be his own son. And when he finally learned the truth, he could not do it. A father ordered by gods to kill his own child. It all led to one last apocalyptic war for the fate of the world. The monarchs invaded, and humanity was nearly wiped out. At the center stood Antares, the king of dragons, the strongest monarch. Jin-Woo, now the full Shadow Monarch, faced him with his shadow army. In a battle that shattered the sky, Jin-Woo finally won. But victory came far too late. Millions were already dead. So Jin-Woo made an impossible choice with the last of his power. He turned back time itself to before the war ever began. He rewrote history and saved every single person who had died. But the cost was almost everything he was. In the new timeline, almost no one remembers the war or him, the greatest hero who ever lived, erased from the memory of the world. And here is where most people believe the story ends. But the monarchs and rulers were never the top of the food chain. For all their godlike power, they were only soldiers. They were created, built by a being far above them, a cosmic architect known only as the Absolute Being. It made the rulers, the monarchs, and the system itself. And then, for reasons no one understands, it simply vanished, leaving its throne over all of creation completely empty. And an empty throne is the most dangerous thing in the universe, because something noticed that creation was now unguarded. They are called the Itarim, outer gods from beyond the edge of reality itself. If the monarchs destroyed worlds, the Itarim devour entire universes. To them, the rulers and monarchs were nothing but insects. They are the true final enemy the whole story was building toward. And now, with the throne of creation empty, they have found a way in. Countless eyes, opening in the dark between the stars. All of them turning toward one small, defenseless world. Our world. And only one being stands between the Itarim and Earth. Sung Jin-Woo. But to fight gods that exist beyond the universe, he cannot afford to stay on Earth any longer. So he made the hardest choice of his entire life. He left his family, his home, his whole world behind to wage a lonely war in the dark spaces between dimensions. The strongest being alive, fighting where no one will ever see him, defending a planet that will never even know his name, a hero protecting a world that has already forgotten he exists. And that is where the new story truly begins. It is called Solo Leveling Ragnarok. And this time, the hero is not Sung Jin-Woo. It is his son, Sung Soo-ho, a boy born with the blood of the Shadow Monarch in his veins, and the incredible strength of his mother, Cha Hae-in. He grows up in the world of peace his father bled to protect, living a normal life, never knowing the weight of his name, never knowing his father is fighting gods in the dark above him, until the day the Itarim finally break through to Earth, and the sun must rise to become the shield his father once was. So no, solo leveling is not over. It is evolving into something far bigger and darker than before. A story that started inside a single dungeon and has now grown into a war across the entire cosmos. From the weakest hunter to a father fighting gods, to a son carrying the fate of two worlds on his shoulders. But not everyone is happy with where it is going. The original creator even called the sequel more of a spin-off. Some fans call it a masterpiece that expands everything. Others say the story already ended at its perfect peak. So what do you think? Is solo leveling better than ever, or should it have ended with the Shadow Monarch? Tell me below.